Kaimere is a competitive place, with fauna converging from two continents, a huge island, a land bridge to the massive land of Hyrule, and, of course, constant harvests from Earth. The known world is an ecological arena. Large dinosaurs often have the advantage in that, at least from Earth, there isn't much in the way of new competition, at least for breeding adults. Native mammals of Kaimere don't have this luxury. Some carnivorans, like leopards, uku bear, and hyenas, have absolutely thrived with abundant populations throughout the known world. This month we will meet 4 carnivorans who haven't fared as well. Certainly not winners of the ecological lottery, but none are extinct thanks to making a home away from the niches or territory of the aforementioned heavy hitters. Arvel is a vast continent. Along its southern coast is an arid steppe and temperate woodland. Much of the northern range in the interior is a diverse forest of dense jungle, swamp, and open titan gardens. Between these regions is a mountain range. This interior is among the least explored regions of the known world. Storms rolling up and over the northern forests are largely stopped in these mountains when they gather in a number of deep lakes carved by glaciers back when Arvel was part of the polar continent. Much of the rivers flowing through Arvel stem from these great lakes. Many creatures are endemic to the lakes and their surrounding forests. Given the uneven terrain, it should come as no surprise that many of the icons of the lowland forest like titans and giant theropods are not present. It is not entirely isolated. There is some endemism in many species due to the unique climate and the mountains making it difficult for many lowland species to cross. A wide variety of valleys became so isolated that entirely unique ecosystems can develop, being not unlike islands, aided by a bounty of rain being carried by storms from the northeast that more or less ride through the valleys, nourishing as they go. Though study has not been robust, what surveys the Assembly has been able to conduct have illuminated many new species. For centuries, it has been noted that the Great Library describes a species of morph of red panther living in these mountains with gray fur instead of the usual red, possessing longer canines and a docked tail. There are also rumors of a bear-panther hybrid of some sort. Closer examination by the Assembly has revealed these rumors to be of the same animal, an elusive big cat called the Harod. After a study of its anatomy compared to fossil cats, naturalists of the Assembly have concluded it is not a close relative of the red panther. Instead, it is a descendant of another machairodont, the man-killer Megantereon. Megantereon was extremely successful on Earth. Much like Panthera today, this genus has species throughout the world, including Eurasia, Africa, and North America, lasting as long as 7 million years. They were versatile and extremely powerful predators. The Indian species has specimens estimated over 500 pounds, probably living much like a tiger, whereas the African species was only around 150 pounds. The American species is believed to be ancestral to Smilodon. Like this more famous machairodont, Megantereon would likely have grappled prey with massive forelimbs, then landed a kill to the throat with their saber teeth, aiming to puncture and punch through both windpipe and the veins or arteries along the neck. Smilodon was an apex predator, like lions being comfortable eating out in the open. Based on smaller carnassial teeth, it is believed Megantereon would have eaten at leisure. At the size of their smaller species, though, they wouldn't have had the luxury of being apex predators like the larger, later Smilodon species. It is presumed that, at least in the smaller species, they would have taken their meal to thickets and high in the trees, meaning these would have been forest predators. There is evidence that Megantereon fought against and perhaps hunted our ancestors. As one specimen shows, a bite came from the front and above, which has been inferred by some not to be predatory behavior, but competitive. Comparing the abundance of Megantereon kills has been proposed to be a facilitator of human expansion, and the carcasses of prey slain by these huge cats could have acted as steps for humans. Interaction between the two Pleistocene pit fighters is unsurprising. It is thought that the two species of Megantereon were harvested from Asia 1.5 million years ago. The larger species, being used to life as one of the top predators in its environment, appears to have quickly gone extinct. Kaimere is not an easy place for cats too large to climb. The smaller species had tremendous success, at least in the short term, spreading far throughout the forests of both continents. Some have suggested this early success in the spread of Megantereon may have facilitated the same spread of Homo erectus throughout Kaimere, just as they did on Earth, though this is conjecture and yet without material evidence. As many forests of Kaimere are more open thanks to the movement of sauropods, it seems that Homotherium fared better in the Titan Gardens, eventually replacing much of the range of the initial Megantereon success. The red panther, another Machairodont of debated ancestry, has species throughout the known world and did better in dense forests and wetlands. To make matters worse, Panthera introduced increasingly competitive species. It seems the last species of Megantereon in Nikar perished with the arrival of Panthera pardus 250,000 years ago. In Arvel, the Highlands seem to have proven a secure holdout. There are mountain leopards and red panthers, but neither are particularly common, and in many places the Harod is more common. Though they are largely unknown by both major research organizations and Kaimere, it seems they are fairly widespread along the mountain range that separates the warm, humid north of the continent and its cool, arid south. Thick fur and broad paws make for more reliable mountain crossing, which males in particular seem to do, based on tracking chip of a tom, which traveled over 2,000 miles from his initial site of tagging to where it fell on a scheduled year later. Part of the bear comparison in this animal stems from their robust build and short tail. Another is their frequency of standing on their hind legs. The feet of this cat are very broad. Not so great for travel, which is why most felids have more narrow feet, but the wide paws on this species are not only ideal for traversing the uneven terrain of their mountain homes, it is similarly stable enough for them to rear up and even comfortably walk on their hind legs for a short distance. Such has been observed in the red panther of dense jungles and woodlands throughout the known world. Though this prompted some suggestion Machairodonts overall were prone to such behavior and stance, it didn't take much review to show that this was not the case. Homotherium, for example, don't, even though it might well benefit from their sight-based pursuit predation, to see far. Instead, their hind legs are much more adapted for cursoriality. The fossil record shows a general cursorial or generalist feat in big cats. In light of this, the bipedal stance seems a coincidence to be represented in 2 of the 3 surviving saber-toothed cats, and is neither the basal nor majority condition of the clade. However, both put this trait to good use in enhancing their vision, both in wetlands, in the case of the red panther, and mountains for the bearcat. It is also a very imposing threat stance. Also, sometimes it seems they just enjoy the view. Though it is fairly elusive, rare near human settlement, and despite our supposedly long relationship, it has certainly lost much of its former range, the Harod is not under any conservation concern by the Assembly. It seems that, in its hidden world of lush valleys, the saber-toothed bearcat has made a comfortable, high home for itself, far from the conflict and competition in the lowlands below. Cheers to Ian for sponsoring this series. While you hear a lot about the heavy hitters of Kaimere, it was nice to spend some time on these scrappy underdogs still holding fast to their niches. Thank you all for sticking with me as I finish this next book. Has been my near singular focus for the last few months, and I've been very grateful both to my many big episode sponsors who were accommodating in my pushing the deadlines back, and to Ian for sponsoring all these shorter topics so I could write without worrying about making ends meet. Got some very exciting episodes for y'all in the future to look forward to once the book is done, and of course I hope the book itself is all to your liking. I'm really excited for all I've been working on, and I am so thankful for the support I've gotten along the way. Cheers, folks!